Can you just give a little bit of your energy to the rest of the people that join us every day?
They have
That
it, they're just saving it for real
there's
estate.
is that what they're doing?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Pacing themselves.
All right, all right. Well, I'm assuming something happened over the weekend. Did you have a little something extra special, or did you just have a run-of-the-mill weekend for yourself?
Oh, we had a delightful weekend. We had a lovely couple come from St. Louis, who wanted to purchase a home that they'll be snowbirding for a couple of years, and then it's going to be their ultimate forever nest. They just chose a beautiful, beautiful home. We got to show them a lot of stuff so that when they made their decision, they felt really comfortable and confident that yes, indeed, this one really was head and shoulders above the rest and had the amenities and the lifestyle that they were looking for. And so it felt pretty great. It was lovely.
Awesome, awesome. We've got the great Don Kavanaugh from Seven Roads on with us this morning. We're going to talk some marketing. Before we do, anybody else have something they want to share? Just absolutely amazing, something positive happened over the weekend, something new. What do we got out there? Who can who can top Linda? Oh boy, that good of weekends. All right, Don. I guess we're going right into marketing.
Wow, that's all right.
All right.
Um
See if you can follow that.
I will say for those of you who are hockey fans, it was really cool to see Alex Ovechkin overtake the great one Wayne Gretzky in goals scored. Steve, I know you're a hockey guy, as am I, so that was pretty neat. I'm sure Ovi is having a good Monday. So awesome. Thanks for having me again. Love doing these things.
Can I? I want to.
And
Can I?
wanted
Don, I want to share
yeah,
something on the Ovi story because I think it's
go
a
for it.
testament to his game. And so for you guys that that don't know hockey, Wayne Gretzky, the great one, had the scoring record. Geez, I don't even know how long it's been since he retired, but decades. He's had the record. I think it's 894 goals. And he also has twice as many assists as that, which Ovi did not have. Right. So Gretzky not only scored 894 goals, but Gretzky also had like, I don't know, 1,600 assists or something like that, twice as many goals, where Ovechkin only has half of that, I believe, maybe even less. But that's not the moral of the story. The moral of the story is Ovechkin, at the ripe old age of, I think he's 39 years old, competing against 18-year-olds, trying to get this final goal to break the record. Had an opportunity to do so the game before he actually breaks the record. And if you follow hockey a little bit, at the end of a game, if the other team is trailing, they may pull their goalie to get an extra skater on the ice so that you can try and tie the game up, send it to overtime, whatever the case might be. And so a lot of times, the other team turns it over. You got an empty net. You could shoot it from almost anywhere on the ice and get yourself a goal. And guys get goals like this all the time. But there was a moment caught on video between Ovechkin and his coach where that happened in the game before. And the coach put him out there and he said, "That's not the way I'm going down." Took himself off the ice and got a regulation goal to break the record. And I just thought, that just shows, like, still at 39 years old, this guy wants to earn it, right? I've been doing a lot on the Huberman podcast and motivation and trying to get the focus on where it needs to be. What are the little daily things that I've got to do? And a lot of it has to do with the milestones and the goals that you're setting for yourself and how much reward you're going to get with the dopamine that you're going to get. I mean, remember, it's all internal. Everything that we're getting is internal. You run a marathon and you cross the finish line. Nobody comes over and injects you with dopamine and gets you that high that you get. That is something that internally you set a goal and you hit it. And the research is very clear on this stuff now that these little milestones in between, you get the same hit. And so instead of setting these big, large goals, right? Just something today that's going to get you that dopamine hit, that you accomplished something. Because this has never been my style of celebrating the small wins, right? To me, okay, great, that's what I was supposed to do. Um, but the data is definitely in, and try and figure out what are these small wins that you can get today during this 30-minute call, something that just gets you a little dopamine, and not through doom scrolling where the dopamine kind of gets all out of your system and now you're doing it and you don't even realize why you're doing it, right? We're talking about real stress induced, like you earned something, you worked hard, got just past your capability to do something. So off on a little bit of a tangent, but I thought that was a really cool story where he could have taken the easy road, and he took the hard road to get the one that mattered most. So yeah, great share, Don. And I thought that was a cool story. So hopefully that hits
Yeah.
home for somebody.
That's awesome. And we can actually use that as a segue into dopamine and how it can affect you as a real estate agent when you're working on your listing. So today we're going to talk about, I'm going to move you guys around on my screen a little bit. Today we're going to talk about what today's buyers actually click on. And that is something that, one of those things that people struggle with, agents I feel struggle with, it is, how to differentiate yourself from all the other agents in all the other listings. So today we're going to go over it really quickly, surface level. Always happy to take a conversation offline. If you want to chat, absolutely feel free to reach out. I love talking about this stuff and talk about it probably ad nauseum at some point. So real quick recap. My name is Don Kavanaugh. I own Seven Roads Media. We are a real estate focused media company. We do all your listing media. Would love the opportunity to work with you if we haven't already. And to those of you who are longtime clients, I truly appreciate it. It's allowed me to kind of live my dream. This is a second career for me for any of those who know me. So today, the buyer behavior has changed. And I do have some notes over here, so I'm looking at my bullet points. So I'll look here and there. Today's buyer behavior has changed, and it's gone from searching for homes to the dopamine hit, the swiping, right? Everybody's attention span is so small that you want to be able to take that 2 to 5 seconds of somebody jumping into your social media or having your social media jump into their algorithm, into their feed, and be able to stop them from scrolling to look at your listing. Now, I talk about this oftentimes. Your media, your marketing for your listing does help you sell your home, but it also helps you sell yourself when you're walking into the next listing presentation. So 97% of home buyers are starting their search online, and people are used to right now TikTok reels, that really fast flipping going through. They see that quick hook that reels them into that video, and they'll stick around. So we want to make sure that as we're marketing our homes, we're kind of adapting to that psychology of how people view things. So think of where your buyers and your sellers, you should always think about your sellers too, because your sellers are vetting you as they're flipping through and they're seeing these things. You want to understand where they live. And right now, everybody lives, we all live on it, on social media. So the TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts. Not sure how successful LinkedIn would be in terms of, getting buyers and sellers, but it's definitely something that you can utilize. It's one of those tools where you can repurpose your content. When's the last time a buyer called you from a flyer? Probably been a long time, but they'll DM you if they're interested in your listing. So that's kind of the mindset we want to have, and that's kind of the mindset of your buyers. So, second point, professional media is no longer optional. It is an absolute must. And I have some stats here. I'm going to throw out the stat and I'm going to throw out the source so you can look it up. Homes with professional photos sell 32% faster. That's from Redfin. Video tours. This one is huge. I know all of you agents who use video. This is the way to do it. That's the secret sauce. 403% more inquiries when you're using video for your listings. So think of how you can take that information and walk into a listing presentation and explain that to your sellers, right? Hey, we're using the best marketing tactic, which is video. On average, they get 403% more inquiries. That comes from Photo Up. Virtual tours, don't sleep on them. I know this was huge during COVID. It really hasn't gone away. And this is one of those things where you can differentiate yourself from others. Listings with 3D tours receive 87% more views, and buyers spend 5 to 10 times more time viewing them. That's another stat from Photo Up. So think of that again.
I want to jump in just for a second here on kind of some of these stats. And if you're in a market like we are in New England right now, I think sometimes an agent's like, well, if I just put the listing up there and it looks halfway decent, it's going to sell, right? Why should I spend $200 or $300 extra dollars to get this property, the extra video, the 3D tour, all of this stuff? And I know it's going to sell if I just get the good photos up there, right? And I want everybody to make sure they understand what the listings are assets. You should be turning listings into more business, right? You should be showing that video, that 3D tour at your next listing presentation would be one reason why you need to have that stuff. The second reason is what Don's saying is all of this extra views, right? Do you think we can get a buyer or another seller from all of these extra views, right? You're trying to sell yourself, like Don said at the beginning. So I just think sometimes agents get stuck in the, why should I spend all that extra money, right? I know another thing that Don does is instead of your traditional listing video, which he talked about, like nobody's watching those traditional listing videos anymore. I mean, I remember we used to do 2-3 minute videos. Hi, this is Steve Ravithis. Welcome to 123 Main Street. And then we're going to walk you through and we're going to do this close at the end. 3 minutes later, it's going to be me on camera, close at the end. Nobody's watching 3 minutes, right? So reels are becoming a big thing. So, spend the extra money, get a reel that you can then DM to other agents, DM to your friends. Hey, here's a 30-second reel. It's a new listing that I got, for agents in the marketplace. Curious if you have any buyers for this. For your friends, hey, you know anybody that's looking to move to this town? Right? They're not going to watch a 3-minute listing video or even a 1-minute listing video, but a quick moving 30-second catchy music reel, they're probably going to watch that. So just keep in mind, why do you want all these extra assets? Down in Florida, obviously we're trying to, do all the marketing just to try and sell a house where you get a different market. But in New England, I just want to make sure we don't get caught in that. Well, I'm just going to do the bare minimum because I know it's going to sell. I don't want to disrespect my sellers. I'll get them some nice photos, but I don't need to do all this extra stuff.
Yeah, that's a great point. The 3-minute ones, 3-minute horizontal videos died years ago. Fast paced hooks, double hooks, calls to action, campaigns, funnels, awareness, conversion funnels. You can utilize video for all this stuff. And buyers are visual, right? Like they don't want to read, they're less apt to read a listing description than they are to look at the photos and flip through the photos. The listing description is like, hey, they definitely need some of this information, but the photos and the video, if you're pushing it on social, that's going to be the difference. If you look at your last 3 listings, would they look like a $700 or $700,000 product launch or a Craigslist ad, right? Think of it that way. Are you launching your listings like they're a $700,000 product, and you're utilizing the right marketing tools to do that, and you're doing the best marketing for your sellers who deserve that? Or are you just taking photos with your iPhone and, throwing them up there and writing a quick listing description, and you think that's enough because of the market? And as Steve said, like, you have to remember that these are opportunities for you to get more business. So what's the ideal mix for media? Photos, absolutely. That's bare minimum. If you're taking photos with your iPhone, or your Android, you're doing your sellers a disservice. You're doing your brand a disservice. The queen right now is short form, fast paced videos with trending music. If you flip on Instagram, you're going to see speed ramps. You're going to see the agent disappearing. You're going to see all that stuff. That is playing to the psychology of somebody flipping through and trying to grab their attention. You're not selling the home, you're grabbing their attention. And when you're utilizing these things in the right way, that attention and the way that you utilize that is going to help you when you sit down for your next listing presentation and you can say, hey, this is what I do. These are the marketing tools that I use that are going to get you more exposure, are going to get you top dollar for your house, your most prized possession in most cases. And you want to make sure that you're representing them in the best way possible. 3D tours, again, don't sleep on them. They have a very unique presence in your marketing funnel. They're great for second home markets. So if you have a listing in Otis, if you have a listing in the Berkshires, these are great things for those second home markets where you have an out of town or out of state buyer. And the other thing it's good for is for your buyers for your sellers. When you walk in and you can say, hey, we're doing 3D listings, our 3D tours, they're going to help on Zillow, and everybody knows, all your sellers know that Z word, the Zestimate. They're going to understand that that's where they live. And if you're playing to that word track with Zillow and the 3D tours, that's going to not only help in that way, but you can also say, hey, this is going to cut down on like unnecessary showings, right? We can have an open house 24/7. Somebody can always come through. And that's one of those things where if you have a busy seller, they may not want to, remove the dogs and make sure the house is clean all the time. So these are some of those like little tools that you can use. They're not overly expensive, but they have massive exposure benefits. And then the other thing too is I feel like people kind of sleep on drones too. Drones are great when you want to show off the neighborhood, you want to show off amenities. Remember that you have this 700 or 500 or $1.2 million product that you need to launch and you need to get the most exposure for, so you can then help your seller get the top dollar for it. And you don't need everything at once. You don't need to come in for your next listing and say, hey, I need the trending reel, I need photos, I need Twilight, I need drone, I need all that stuff. Just try one more thing and start to ramp up as you get more listings.
I think the
All
key thing that you said there, Don, is understanding when to use the different products, right? I don't know that you need to do a 3D tour on every single listing, right? If you're with our Zillow team or whatever, I think we're forced to do that, but I don't know that it makes sense for every single listing. I don't think drone makes sense for every single listing, but for the different pieces of when to use drone, kind of like when you talked about, or the 3D tour, when you're talking to, hey, this is a second home market, then 3D tours start to make more sense. So understanding when to use the different pieces or different tools, if you will.
Yeah, that's huge. And there's been times when we've talked people out of drone. So drone isn't always the answer, but it is a tool, and you need to utilize that tool when it's the right time. Using media to win your listings. Again, I'm reading off my bullet points. Sellers care how you market, especially in this market, right? You want to walk into that listing presentation and have all those tools on your tool belt so that you can utilize them in promoting yourself as the possible listing agent to that seller. So you can walk in and say like, hey, I have a media team that can come in and do all this stuff. We're going to get as much exposure possible for your listings. Your sellers care. They want that top dollar. And use that professional media team, whether it's us, whether it's Snap Estate, whoever else you're using, utilize a team that can handle all this stuff. And we've talked about this before. Steve and I have talked about this. It's that perception too. Your sellers don't want you coming in with your iPhone and taking pictures. They want to know that you're focused on the selling of the home and not that marketing piece. So bring in a media and a marketing team. There are some fantastic options in terms of Facebook ads. There's some great companies around here. Cloud9 is fantastic. When you need that extra reach, when you need that extra exposure. utilize the tools that you have to you. When you walk into a listing presentation, bring your iPad and show them what you can do. Show them all the marketing that you can use to help them sell their home. Position yourself as the agent who launches listings, that not the agent that just throws it up on MLS and puts the link on their Facebook. Also, I see quite often agents using the Zillow link in their social media. Please don't use that link. What happens is you're essentially giving that lead to somebody else, right? You're putting the Zillow link out there. Somebody's interested in the home. They're not going to come back to Facebook and DM you. They're going to hit the I want to see this home, and it's going to go to the pool. Use your marketing team, your media team. Like we offer single property websites. Use that. They come back right to your listing. When they want more information, they enter their information into it comes into your inbox. So make sure that you're utilizing either your media team's single property websites or your brokerage's websites, so you're not sending them to the pool of agents who are paying for the leads. You're selling more than a home, you're selling a feeling. That's what professional media does. So think of these, that dopamine hit. You want to make sure that you're utilizing what's new, what's trending, and you're establishing that emotional connection with a buyer and a seller. Hey, this agent really markets their homes differently. And then here's kind of the key in a listing presentation or a line that you can steal. Would you rather list with somebody who takes iPhone photos or someone who makes your home feel like it's featured on HGTV? So think of that when you're sitting down for a listing presentation. Are you establishing that expectation that that you're gonna come in with your iPhone and take pictures and just throw it up on MLS? Or are you somebody that's gonna market their home using all the tools that are available to you?
Don, let's
Yeah.
pause here just because we only got 5 minutes left, and let's
Yep.
just have some discussion. I saw that Chris had put in the comments, my 1 minute listing videos always get lots of looks. Chris, are you? I don't know if you're free to talk. Are you saying, hey, you keep it up to that 1 minute, but like you would never go over, or what were you trying to?
Yeah, I would never go over again. I would never go over the 1 minute. But
Yeah.
if you're someone that has a hook, it still does work for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So
I
you're
do it
closing,
all.
right? So you're doing a quick reel that's a 30-second, and then you have your kind of longer 60-second version.
Correct.
Yeah. I think the other thing, like if we're going over, like you need to leave a little something to be desired or learned about the property, right? Like I think that's the best thing that you can do. The best like 30-second ones that I've seen, you're like, damn, I got to go see that house. It didn't show me everything. It showed me little glimpses of a property, maybe a cool staircase, maybe a cool glimpse of a backyard, maybe a cool glimpse of the pool, not the whole pool, right? I don't get a full tour, but enough for like, damn, that pool looked pretty cool. So I think that's the other thing that you can do is it leaves them wanting more. Maybe I got to go see this in person, because ultimately that's what we're trying to do.
Right.
I mean,
And that's the awareness thing too, right? When you're just showing little glimpses, you're just, that's something that you can utilize as a coming soon the day before you go live. And if you're utilizing a campaign where you have, a 3-phase campaign, which we do, there's an awareness phase. There's 3 phases that you can walk somebody through. And when you come into a listing presentation, you say, hey, I have a whole video campaign. Not only do I have, and anybody can do this, not just us, but anybody can do this. But when you walk into that presentation and you say, hey, I have a whole video campaign that is geared towards the different psychological aspects of a buyer, you're way ahead of the person that comes in and they're like, oh, I'm gonna have my photographer come in and do photos. And again, like Steve, you hit the nail on the head. Not every listing deserves everything, but you have to remember when you go into these, you should be using your listings as a way to get more listings, not just to sell the home. And I feel like, honestly, not only do I own an agency, I'm a coach and I coach other real estate media company owners. And some of the stuff that these agencies are doing for their agents, we just don't see around here. It's available to you. Your media team can do it. It's just, you need to understand that you can utilize a lot more tools than some people are. And going in with oh, this one just needs photos, that's great for the house, but it's really, you're doing a disservice to your personal brand.
What'd you have, Chris?
I think an important thing too for me is that I am hitting many different age groups. So it's the age groups I'm hitting. And that's why I do it all. Because my older people are like, oh my God, Chris, you're making me bit dizzy. Sorry, I'm sick. You're making me dizzy with your quick reel running through. Because anyone that went to, Tim Macy's thing last week, that's the big thing, running through with your phone. And you're seeing it already on social media if you're on there. Like, here we go, we got a kitchen. Here we go, we got a bathroom. Whereas the other age is like, I like you to walk me through it, Chris. Walk me through So I'm just hitting multiple different
Yeah.
ages.
Well, and I think the other thing, I think you're talking about the audience, playing to the audience. I think the other thing is when we're going into the listing, guys, if you know you're competing, you've got to show everything and put it all out on the table and maybe just have a conversation. Hey, which ones do you want to do? Right? Because if you think the property doesn't need drone, but their buddies, listed a house and they did drone, right? And then you don't offer drone and the other person offered drone, you might lose because you didn't offer drone when it's a property that if you had a conversation, you'd say, hey, here's why I don't want to use drone, or here's why we're going to do limited drone on this listing. So I think just having the conversation to like Don said, have your iPad, have a laptop, and show the options, and just have a conversation with your seller. What was your expectation, right? Because I've got a media team. We can pull off anything that you want, right? Media is not my thing. I have a media team that does this for me, right? My job is I want to get a hold of the agents in the marketplace once we go live. I love, I mean, Don kind of alluded to this, but I love that Sharon puts a name to it. My 421 listing launch. This is what I do 4 days before the listing. This is what I do 2 days before the listing. This is what I do 1 day. Maybe this is, and then there's maybe after, right? 1 day after, 7 days after these, right? This is my listing launch. That just sounds a lot better than, yeah, I can list your house. So
Yeah, that's a great point.
like have a process, and you're going to wow the seller, where the other person came in and going to do their own photos, or even if I have a professional photographer. I have a professional photographer. I have a professional videographer. Sounds a lot different than I have a media team. So like your words can matter, and how you present this at the listing table can really matter. To me, the marketing is one of the most important things that a seller should be asking about when they select their agent to list the property, right? Negotiation skills, marketing, like those got to be the top two things, right? So, anybody else have any questions, comments, thoughts on the marketing side? We are quiet today. Thanks, Chris, for bringing your energy. Linda, thank you for bringing your energy. Chris sick over there and still getting it done. I love it. I hope the rest of you guys get your coffee and you get yourself caffeinated, and go have yourselves a killer Monday. I'm sure it's sunny down in Florida. It ain't sunny here in New England. So send us some sun, you Floridians, and we'll do it again tomorrow morning. Don, thanks so much. Let's take a quick look here at the trainings that are available today. What do we got? Let's see. How to double your business with virtual assistants, social media and marketing. There you go. High Note. We've talked about High Note a little bit. It looks like they're doing a monthly on High Note and how to use it. I am enjoying High Note, how we're using it here internally. And then CEO Connect is a class for team leaders. So a couple of different opportunities. Share the show. Come back. Take a training. If you learn something, share it with us. Share what's going on in your deals, and we'll do it again tomorrow morning. Take care, guys.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye.